out the roof are some of the common themes for the day. So a couple of suggestions in terms of rules for the day. And you can, I will suggest these. You can decide you don't like that one, you want to mark something out. You can decide there's something we need to clarify or there's something we need to add. Ultimately, it's up to you. The first one I ask is that you participate fully. We're here on Saturday morning. We're here at this point, and I ask that you be here. So phones off or silenced or whatever it takes, that we're not looking at these the whole time, and that we're here present with one another out of respect for this time and for everybody that's in the room. No checking out. You get frustrated. I think I told the story 2 years ago. I was in a town board meeting in another town one day, and one of the town board members got frustrated and spent 20 minutes with his head on the podium up here. Like, don't be that person. All right. It may get frustrating at times, but don't check out on us. And then be here today. We all come in here with previous relationships, previous experiences, and there may, this many people in the room. We've got people that we agree with a lot. We got people we disagree with a lot. But for today, try to leave as much of that at the door as we can, and let's just start fresh the next 4 or 5 hours that we're together, kind of leaving some of that stuff behind. Second one is respect. And this one's always, it's a little awkward, but a big one in a group this big is no interrupting. We need to hear, we can't learn while our mouths are moving generally, and we need to hear what other people are saying. And I used to work in education. We always made everybody raise their hand, and it's weird when you tell adults you need to raise your hand. But I would almost suggest that, number one, if we're not raising our hands, we're all trying to figure out when can I interject and say what I want to say. And we start thinking more about that than we do listening to other people. So I just find it's a little more stress-free. If we raise our hands, we make sure we hear everybody gets a chance to talk. Time. We've got a limited amount of time, and I think one of the things with facilitating is you try to find a nice way to say everything, and I don't know a nice way to say. Don't dominate the conversation. Say what you need to say everything you need to say, but then get out, and let's hear what other people have to say. And then Ms. Mashburn already said, just kind of making sure we know what we're passionate about, but understand everybody else in here got something they're passionate about, and then we're respectful of that. The next one, don't take it personal. We're talking about issues today. We're not talking about people. So when you bring up, if the mayor decides that his issue for today is he wants to start offering hot air balloon rides, that's an issue, and he's going to throw it out there. He's going to set it aside. And if you criticize that issue, you're not criticizing the mayor. That's just that issue. We're just having that conversation about the issue. So let's deal with that. Let's not, if somebody doesn't like your idea, don't take that personal. At the same time, somebody brings up an idea, don't take that opportunity to take out how you feel about that person on that issue. So don't take it personal. And then John said earlier, looking at my, well, you weren't looking at my ground rules at that point, but consensus. Consensus doesn't mean we all agree, but it means can I live with the decision and move forward and be part of the team. And it's like I've got a 16 and 13-year-old daughter, and it seems like, but most of the time we're trying to teach them how not to get their way and still be productive members of the family. And that's kind of with a board, if we vote on something and it's 4-3, we're just kind of saying, hey, you didn't get your way, tough luck. But with consensus, we're saying, look, I didn't get my way, but I can be a part of this. And I'm not out bad-mouthing that decision in the community. I'm not undermining it or anything else. I can live with that. So anything else that we need to have on here, or anything that needs to be taken off this list that you're like, look, I can't live with that?
On participation, I think that is very, very important for everyone here has an idea or an opinion, and they should have an opportunity to do that. I would recommend that we don't filibuster and take up a lot of time, and limit yourself to what is pertinent. And I've been in sessions before where people get carried away, and it's kind of like the preacher. He quit preaching and started meddling, So sometimes we can get too carried away on things. So just kind of be in control of your time, because maybe someone else who wants to say something and you're taking up their time. So kind of monitor how much time you take up so everybody gets a chance to participate.
Excellent. Yes.
On that thread, and gonna say what everybody else is thinking. Do we have a drop dead time that we're gonna finish today?
I would say at 1, if at all possible, because we got a parade forming up here outside in the parking lot.
Yeah.
So
I think it's,
now, if we're really deep in something, it's up to the board if y'all want to continue. It's not my call, except that it's planned for 1.
yeah. All right. Anything else?
Yeah, we got enough food where we could stay 3 days.
So time's a concern. Okay. If everybody's good with these, now I have no authority whatsoever other than what you'll grant me today. So are you okay with me enforcing these? If somebody's going over time, I'm allowed to say something to you. You're not going to get mad at me. If I catch you checking out, I'm going to call you out, say something about that. Everybody's all right with that. You're not going to take that personal.
That's what you're here for.
Okay, good deal. All right. All right, one other thing, and then I'm going to hand it over to you guys to start talking about issues a little bit. Just a little bit of perspective. You guys, and some of you may have seen this before, but this is the life cycle of a group. And it's dangerous to move this thing because it may go down. But you guys are a new group. You've never existed before. Before 3 months ago, this group didn't exist as it does now. Even 6 days ago, it changed a little bit, right? So groups go through these stages, whether we like them or not, and we can try to control these or not control, but it gives a little bit of perspective of where we are. So there's groups that start off in the forming stage. So election day, hiring new staff, whatever it is, your group goes back into forming. From there, you're going to move into this norming stage, which is where we're setting some ground rules, like we did today for this meeting. And there's 2 ways this can go. You can do this formally, or it can happen informally. But your group's going to get norms. You may have norms like civility, honesty, listening, or you may have the opposite of those. But you can either set them intentionally, or they'll set themselves every time. But you will go through that phase at some point. And then there's storming. And again, I won't talk about my kids all morning, but I can watch my kids, all their friendships end about the time they get to the storming phase, because they don't know how to get through storming. Like once the honeymoon ends and they start fighting with a new boyfriend or a new friend, that's kind of the end of it. They think that person's a bad person, they don't want to be around them anymore. But you've got to go through that in relationships. And so all groups will go through this storming phase. And I think this is an important one to understand as you're forming a group. Like a little bit of conflict, a little bit of not getting along doesn't mean that your board's not functioning. It may mean that it's going through a stage it needs to go through. And then ultimately, if we can push through the storming phase, we might have a moment or two where we get to hang out in that performing stage where things are going well and we're enjoying it, we're having fun, and we're getting things done as a group. And then inevitably, we'll flip back around, an election will come, we'll hire new staff, and you'll go back into that form and you'll continue this cycle. So I just say that to keep that in mind as this day moves forward, and we may have a little bit of conflict, we may have contentious issues. Those aren't necessarily bad things as long as we're moving through and pushing through those. So with that in mind, I think we're ready to move. Everybody's got an agenda, Summer?
Yes.
And so